The best podcast in the world. Yes,
and
sir.
Another thing, Malik, let me tell. No, I'm just playing.
John Machota, Skywalker Still Law Nation. How we doing, boys?
Oh, we doing great.
Doing great.
Doing good, man.
Laws,
I know John's on cloud 9 right now.
I understand it.
Well, Toxic said Duke is struggling with Phoenix Online University. Toxic, come with it, bro.
Phoenix Online University is crazy.
No, you got a rebuttal for that or no?
Glad everybody tuned in, enjoyed it. Sorry to ruin your day. I know you're hoping for that upset. Not today.
Not today,
it's crazy.
buddy.
It's crazy because I don't know a single person that if you're not a Duke fan, you automatically hate them and you're rooting for it. It's like the Cowboys, like you said earlier. If you're not a Cowboy fan, it's like you're rooting for them to lose every single time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and where do you think that come from? Christian Laettner before that, John?
JJ Redick for me.
Shevsky's pretty hateable. I get why people don't like him. So
Coach K? I like Coach K. I think it was Laettner, bro. And like Skywalker said, maybe
the next Laettner was JJ. Like he was so unlikable.
And it's also like a lot of it. I mean, the alumni base is like, it's rich, privileged, elite university, all that stuff. So it makes it easy to hate him. But I don't really care about the school. I don't care about the other athletics either. I've always liked their basketball team. So
absolutely. Yeah. What episode is it, fellas?
It's got to be closing at 100.
96.
96. Or did we do 96 last time? No.
94.
So 96 would be
95 last time.
Spears, right?
Okay, yeah. So it's 97. It's 97 then.
It's 97?
I think it's 96. Somebody said 97.
Yeah, somebody said 97. So Jason Hatcher.
Good name.
Oh,
right. Well, Hatcher, 97.
He played in 3-4, right? Jason Hatcher played in it.
Osa Degizua?
Or Osa.
Or
Hatcher was a good player.
Tristan Hill?
Yeah, LeRoy Glover was 97. Yeah.
Taco?
All right, we can move on now. Taco.
Jason
John.
Kavika Pittman? Sorry.
We got time on this one, right? Nothing really breaking. I want to ask John this question, if y'all don't mind. Man, Tristan Hill. Was that the worst pick outside of Taco? That was brutal, fellas.
Mozzie Smith.
That's a good one. I think Mozzie's worse.
Mozzie.
Bro, did Tristan Net make a play ever?
No, but I mean, at least he's a second-round pick.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. It was second round.
And Tristan had potential, but he got hurt when he was starting to figure it out. And then the next year, I think a new coach, and they just was like, we're good. And then the following year, they cut him.
It's between them two for me. I mean, obviously Taco wasn't great, but those two D tackles, man, that's man, you'd like to have at least one of them still on the team right now.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember like Tristan Hill, like he didn't practice. He was like so immature, and I was wondering, John, like were you around any of that, like noticing, like, man, this kid ain't gonna make it. Like you could just see it.
Yeah, a little bit, but I think that they believed that Rod Marinelli could get the best out of him. That was such a guy that Rod went to bat for, and so Rod had so much success with guys that weren't high picks. Coaching guys up, Nick Hayden's and stuff like that, Antoine Woods, that I think they believed, okay, well, we'll give him like a more premium type pick. And then let's see if he can turn this, not necessarily turn him into Warren Sapp, but turn him into, a really good starter. And that just obviously didn't come close to happening. So, yeah.
Most certainly.
Man, that hurts to miss on both of those.
Yeah. That's why I'm not going to say why you're in the position you're in now, but I will say, I was about to say, part of it, having to, at some point, figure out how you can draft that position a bit better.
Yeah.
All right. We want to talk about the remaining roster needs, obviously. Who else should the Cowboys sign? And free agency's impact on the draft. So we'll get to all of that. But, John, is there anything that you're hearing? I know a bunch of these contracts. Maybe you can give us what's gone on with Rashan Gary, the money being moved around.
Appreciate that cuts.
Yeah, facts. There's a few other contracts I feel like that got moved. So, John, anything?
Yeah, I'd say the Rashan Gary one's the biggest because when they made that trade, I think a lot of people looked at it as like, man, you gave up a 4th-round pick and you got to pay him all that. And it looks like the way it's been redone that it's basically 16 million is just what's left like guaranteed, and it cap number significantly. So the thing I keep going back to is it's like, I get it. You gave up a 4th-round pick, and I know people are disappointed by that, but Rashan Gary just straight up gets cut by the Packers. Like he's getting at least a 2-year deal from somebody, and it's going to be north of $10 million a year. I mean, I get it. Like, the one that I keep coming back to is the way Packers fans talk about him, or I think the way Cowboys fans would have talked about DeMarcus Lawrence, when he went to Seattle, they'd be like, yeah, you guys gave him 3 for, whatever, 32. That's a lot. He's had injuries and whatever. And he goes off and has a really productive year for Seattle. So I think that the setting and being back with Kenny Clark and all that, I think could be good for Rashan Gary. So I like the Rashan Gary move. I don't know. Where are you guys on that?
I was just about to ask you guys.
I was going to say the difference between DeMarcus Lawrence going to Seattle as the 11th best player, and then Rashan Gary coming to Dallas and arguably your 3rd best defensive player is massively different, right? But
it is. But I don't think even with that, anybody would have thought that he'd have the season he did. Not just in the regular, but how big he was for them in the postseason.
Yeah, postseason.
And really,
again,
let's just forget. We'll just take away production. Just having multiple major foot injuries, and you're a guy in your 30s. The fact that you played all season is pretty impressive.
100%. But yeah, I think the Gary signing is even better now. Our trade. Once they redid the number, like in general, from a talent acquisition, he was again going to raise the floor as a run defender. So that was cool. But I was hoping they would pair him with a pass rusher. Haven't done that just yet. The cap number wise, I was worried, y'all, that they were going to use that as an excuse not to sign anybody else. Well, doesn't matter. They still didn't sign anybody else. But when they reworked that contract, I'm like, oh, this is an A++ move because it's $5 million on your cap this year. It's essentially a 1-year deal, and they can get rid of him next year.
And doesn't that make you kind of think that that's probably why they were like, all right, we'll give up the pick. Don't cut him and let him go on the open market. Yes. And now you got to bid for him. And clearly they've shown you in free agency that they're not really trying to outbid other teams,
They get the leverage. They love to have leverage. And when you make these trades, the Mingos, the Pickens, the Cooks, the Gilmores, you maintain that leverage with that contract. So you decide if you want to bring them back. You decide, hey, extend them at this number, rework the deal here, yada, yada, yada. You don't have any of it in free agency. You have to overpay, and they don't want to do it.
Most certainly. And that's what I look at with the Rashan Gary. My thoughts on it is that he allows you to pick number 12 comfortably because you don't have to reach for a spot at that spot. If you didn't have Rashan Gary, everything would be like, hey, we got to get an edge rusher. We got to get an edge rusher with that first pick. So at least with Rashan Gary on this roster now, it alleviates that.
I agree, Law.
Yeah, so it's a 2-year, $32 million but 16 of it's guaranteed. So they could pay the 1 year, and if it was just an epically terrible season, and get out of the contract next year. So I thought that when those numbers came out, I think that makes the trade more understandable, I guess, is the thing I would say. When you guys mentioned the draft, though, I wanted to say one thing that was interesting that's happened since the last time we had the show is the Jalen Waddle trade. And I just bring that up to say that kind of impacts the Cowboys in a sense that I would think the Dolphins are in play for a wide receiver, where I don't know that was necessarily the case before. So that could be a spot where it gets you another receiver in there, which would be nice for the Cowboys because then they could push another defensive player down to you. But when Law said that about the draft, that was one of the first things I know we hadn't talked about that.
Wait, John, so you're telling me that Jalen Tolbert is not going to be the one? Okay.
I mean, that man doesn't need to catch this type of hate.
I'm just John. Johnny,
shots at Tolbert.
I don't think he was ever a 1. I think he was a 3 with hopes of being a 2. I think
Malik Willis, baby. Let's roll.
Irony of because I thought that Tolbert could have had like a Seth Wilson type of arc, and he kind of did with the 3rd year he had.
Yeah,
and then he goes to the team that said 1-2 Miami. It's just so crazy.
Yeah. Hey, John, before you continue, I want to actually pop in on Rashan Gary. You said that if he had if the possibility of him having a disastrous year, well, he's never had that. And I think that he's always been like steady Eddie, right around but 7 through 9 sacks, good versus the run. And I think that's, to Law's point, that's what you need, is to where you're not forced to draft edge. Number one, because you're probably going to get wiped on edges that can come in day one and just affect the game. And Sky's been all over this. Edges do not come in the NFL and just have 12 sacks. So it's tough. You know what I mean? That's a once in a every blue moon type of a player. And so if you're at 12, it's now, and I know there's somebody in the back saying, well, you got Micah Parsons at 12. He came in and did that. But I think the point is, yeah, he's a one of one. But in all seriousness, I'm glad that they're not pigeonholed to have to draft that position, because in this draft, if you luck out on Ruben Bain, possibly, but Bailey and Reese, you can pencil them in the top 4 for sure.
Well, if that's the case, like I didn't know y'all thought process is that edge is ruled out and with that pick, and is it not ruled out for is it ruled out for 22 or no?
No, I don't think it's completely ruled out. I think that
I don't think so either.
Yeah, no,
I don't think it's ruled out. I don't think it's ruled out. Yeah, I don't think you have to. And I think, Sky, you would have to. It would be that there would be that asterisk by like buyer beware, because the edge you're gonna get at, okay, if you want the production, and this we'll talk draft, but if you want the production, it would be a guy like Mesidor, but he's 25, multiple foot injuries, and this was his first year breaking out like ever. Everything else been like 4 sacks, 5 sacks, 12 sacks. He had a good sack number this year, which was good, playing with Bain on that defensive line. But continue, John. I'm sorry.
Well, I also think that they forced their hand so far at linebacker.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how you can get, whether you take a linebacker at 20 or you trade back a few spots or something. Like, I mean, they need an inside linebacker that can come in and start day one, and they haven't gotten one through free agency. So a trade could potentially happen, but we can talk about that more when we get in the draft.
I'll save it for that. I'll save mine.
Okay. Jalen Thompson would be the next. That's probably the next biggest contract. That's 3 years, 33 with a max of 36. I'm fine with that for everything they're going to ask him to do. What about you guys?
I'll start. That was, first of all, us drafting a safety. I love it. Like, capital L. And Sky, I mean, you again, more flowers. You were kind of on that. There was a few other people in the community was like, man, hey, he's one of those ones. I always like, John, you know what I like to do is see how the other fan base feels about him leaving. And he is one that Arizona fans were very upset. Like, legit. Capital U, John, just because of the player that he is, man. The only thing that you can say about him is he doesn't have great ball production as far as like the interceptions and stuff like that. But man, a player who's where he's supposed to be, John, smart, runs the alley. He is an amazing tackler, but he's where he's supposed to be, man. That's better than what we had last year. I'm okay with that.
This is, you spoke with them today, right, John?
Yeah, well, I wasn't on the call. I was biting up all my fingernails watching Duke. So, but I got the conference call tape.
Okay,
John, hold on. Well, tell about Sky. No, he was not. No, he did not. I'm just playing with you, John.
I can't be going on that stuff when I'm in a moment like that. Duke's down 11 at halftime.
They get the audio anyway. Sidebar. I remember when we got the audio a couple years ago from somebody. I forget who it was. It was a big deal when that happened.
Oh, yeah.
So this is what he said. Wherever the coaches need me, I definitely see myself playing in the slot. Definitely see myself playing deep safety. Definitely see myself playing strong safety, free. Wherever they need me at, and my film shows it, I'm ready to get it going. That just gets me hype. I know that sounds very cliche or whatever, but the part where he ain't lying about is the film shows it. So he's not just saying, oh, I'll do whatever the coaches want me to do. He literally was everywhere. He played in the slot. He played deep. He played around the middle. He played in the box, and he did that pretty damn well. Like, I don't think there's a hole in his game. He may not be elite at any of it, but there is no hole in his game. He is one of the most solid safeties that was on the market. And he was the guy that stuck out to me when I was watching the Cardinals, when the Cowboys were playing them. And I was like, oh, I wonder if he's a free agent. Oh, my goodness, he's a free agent. So I got to keep my eye on him when we get to the offseason.
Yeah. John, I mean, and Law, how did you feel about Jalen Thompson? Oh, shoot. I think you muted yourself, John. Law.
Okay, I feel as if we're mute game. I feel as he's a perfect fit for this team, and especially already knowing the language of what CP is going to bring. So this is going to be a perfect marriage for us to not really reaching even to this draft on the back end as it relates to safety. So I think that with Jalen Tolbert as well as PJ Locke, it's going to be a perfect love with what CP is trying to do, and Rod Smitty.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One I wanted to mention real quick. We don't have to spend a lot of time on this, but I thought 1 year, $2.5 million, max of $3 million for Sam Williams was fine with me. Like I thought there was a chance they'd bring him back if it was for a 1 year deal like that, and that isn't a huge investment for somebody who could maybe get you 5 or 6 sacks or something like that, and you need more depth at that position. So I don't know if you guys had any take on that or not, if you were in or out on that.
I was shocked they brought him back. Because I thought there was better. I was trying to improve on Sam, but then I think once they saw the edge market kind of flying, they got probably a little scared of that, and they said, "Well, we can't go into this draft with the cupboard completely bare from a depth standpoint." I don't believe Sam is great depth as is, but at least we've seen him do something at some point in his career, and he's been here in Dallas. He knows the facility and things like that. So I think they're looking at that as, look, we'll bring him back. It's like you said, 2.5. If we happen to draft a guy or sign a guy or trade for a guy in the meantime, no guarantee that he even makes the roster. But if he does make it, it's 2.5 for what you hope is like your edge 4, to be honest. I don't know if you want to go into this thing and he's your edge 3, but if that happens, okay. I'd like to see if that holds up, but I don't think you want that to be the case.
You're hoping for Diamond Ezraku to take this thing over. Right, you're hoping for him and Gary to play off each other. I think they do draft an edge. I just don't know where, but an edge is coming through. And to echo Sky's point, I like Sam Williams. I think that, I like the person. I just don't know how he fits here, but I will have to wait and see because, everything we've heard from Christian Parker is, mental, smart, those types of things. We're gonna have, I heard the best quote I heard, John, was no gray area. Well, Sam plays in a lot of gray area, and he's done that throughout his whole career. I'm sorry.
That was that was the most respectful way to say, man, Sam, you ain't for real. No, I'm just playing. Hey, Sam, just jokes, dog, joke. He crazy. He might drive 94 miles per hour at my crib or something.
The other Sam got a very similar contract. Sam Howell's contract is something like that too, about 2.5 with a max of 3. That one surprised me personally. I thought they were going to run back the same quarterback room they had last year. So how did you guys feel about that and at that number of 2.5 for 1 year?
Competition.
Yep.
Anybody else see it that way?
Absolutely.
I think you would have to.
Yeah, same way. Competition. Let's look at it.
That feels like real competition, man. And look, I like Milton. You know what I'm saying? I still do like the potential. He was second year last year, but I think they saw enough on film to probably say, okay, look, if we really need to run something, because Dak went out for a couple games, I don't know if it's Milton. Whereas Howe, it was wild, right? He was up and down, but at least he has a ton of starts, and you can probably get through a game with Howe, but hopefully this pushes Milton. Whereas the Will Greer, did he really feel competition and pressure? Man, they just traded for me. I'm a second year. I got a cannon. I'm lighting up training camp highlights, yada, yada, yada. Well, Sam Howell is another one of those, what's the word I'm looking for here? Swashbuckling type of quarterbacks that can make a big play too and get some highlights and whatnot.
Runner.
So, and you know what I mean? So maybe he puts a little bit of pressure on Milton. And if that works, Cowboys get better for it because Milton gets better. If not, Sam Howell, come on in.
John, you can get a look in preseason. Nobody was a bigger Joe Milton fan than me. I talked it up, but I'm also not scared to say Joe Milton scares the heck out of me. It's like 2 good plays, 1 play, the ball's flying 5 yards over the guy's head. It's an interception. He's throwing in a double coverage. Now, I say interception. Sam Howell literally has a year where he threw 21.
Sam has more picks, I think.
I was about to say,
Right.
he threw for 21 touchdowns and 21 picks. I remember that year Bland got him. But I will say, right now, if you had to play a game tomorrow and Dak wasn't in, I probably want Sam with our receivers, with this receiving core So yeah.
PJ Locke, 1 year, $4 million. With it can be worth up to $5 million. So he obviously will help you at safety, but then he also helps you on special teams. So I like that he has the experience of being coached by Christian Parker in Denver for a few years. So I think that move makes sense to me, and I don't think that's like some huge contract. It's a 1 year deal. So
good depth signing, improves the safety room. If they decide to go some 3 safety stuff, he can do it.
Yeah.
Next up, Kobe Durant, 1 year, similar deal, $4 million with a possible max of $5 million. So this one would probably be right up there with Howell for me, of just as a surprise, because I didn't think that you could get Kobe Durant for that cheap, to be honest with you. Maybe it's because of his size, but I thought that he would get a better contract than that because of, you get paid for taking the ball away, and to have 3 picks in the playoffs alone and in the regular season. I thought that's a good deal for him.
Bro, I'm right there with you. I was surprised that you got him for that amount. I thought he was worth at least a multi-year deal. It could have been in the same fashion as Solomon Thomas. I think Solly signed for like 2.8, right? Something like that. Why not 2 for $11 million? I mean, you got 5.5, so you could just round it up to 11 when you do, times 2. Or I thought that could have been for he's only 27, 28 for Durant. He's not that old.
Yeah.
Ball hawk. He's familiar, and maybe he didn't play in this exact scheme, but he played in a vision-based defense, right, where he's playing off a little bit and he can attack from top down, and he gets to the ball, man. I am surprised you got a guy like that for 1.5.
I also like how him and Locke both come from teams that have had a lot of success recently. So they're not coming from, nothing against Jalen Thompson and coming from Arizona, but you're coming over from Denver, you're coming over from the Rams. Those are 2 teams that could have very easily been playing in the Super Bowl. And so you're coming from somewhere else where the standard's pretty high too.
Yes, indeed. And I think so far he's our best off-season signing. Kobe Durant, I think that he's going to ball
over
out.
Thompson.
I got.
You know what I did, Law? I was just gonna say I went Thompson and Durant.
Okay,
they're right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say this. Would you say he's the best value?
Ooh, yeah. Age, what he was able to do in the playoffs.
Right.
Yeah. And then what he brings to the table, like that little moxie. I think we've been missing that little part. That being able to be in the face. I love that part too. So both of them bring that, but I think Kobe is going to bring the shark, the land shark, the whole brand. Jerry's going to eat off of that land shark brand. Watch.
I'll tell you this, Law. He's in the HBCU Hall of Fame. Kobe Durant is. I think that's awesome. He took the road less traveled. And what he does, this scheme, like zone and eyes on the quarterback, I think that's the fit.
Yeah. I think he fits perfect. Again, shocked it was 1 year.
The land shark. Yeah.
Otito Agbanya, 1 year, 2.7 up to $3 million. So to add another D tackle to the room, I could still see them adding more, another defensive lineman, maybe through the draft there. After they moved on from Solomon Thomas and Osa, I feel like there's still one more spot. I don't know that necessarily has to be somebody that you take on day 1 or day 2, but I don't think that they're done on the defensive line.
This is a draft one. Law and Foots. Is Peter Woods out the question?
I'm so glad you brought that up, Sky.
Because when they traded them two tackles, I was like, wait a minute now.
And John,
Kenny's older. Otito's on 1 year. You don't have a deep DT. I don't know if we can rule out Peter Woods.
Let me tell you something, John. Who was the name that kept showing up on that? That's great work, Sky. Who was the name that kept showing up on that? The executive draft where they one of your colleagues at the Athletic, they went around and polled Mike Sando. He polled all the mocks.
Oh yeah.
Peter Woods was in the top 10, Sky. Out of all the executives, they kept saying Peter Woods. I was like, wow, interesting. So you're not
the
wrong,
Cowboys
Sky.
D-line coach Marcus Dixon, I think it is. He was at the Clemson Pro Day working out the defensive lineman in that. So that would be interesting.
Good research on that. And Marcus Dixon, when he work out with fellas, man, he's talented, man. So
he's so tapped in, Law.
If we may not like some people I've seen in the chat, they pretty much don't like the pick, but let Marcus Dixon get a hold to him.
And it feels like the value of defensive tackles are higher than pass rusher, edge rushers right now for this scheme. So I could 100% see them valuing DT, depending how they stack their board. If Woods is stacked higher, if he's, you're sitting at 20 and he's your 14th guy, and it would not shock me because you don't have a lot of depth at defensive tackle and you don't have a lot of future there. You got Quinnen, but Kenny is probably a year-to-year thing right now. And Otito is on a 1 year. J-To, we don't have a lot there. Just saying.
And he's 10 times better than both of those guys.
And when the way we moved in free agency, if the draft was like next week, it's going to be a linebacker, probably DT, or a linebacker, probably DB.
Edge, yeah.
Or edge. So we still got those three big
those
areas.
are like the blinking ones, right?
Yeah.
Linebacker.
Corner's
DB,
still in play too.
Yeah, D corner. Right. But the non-blinking edge and DT. Yeah, you probably can go line up right now and play. But if you're going beyond the starting guys, there's not much behind it.
Yeah, I don't know if they got enough right now to get after the quarterback.
I agree.
I'll tell you this though, John. D tackle Woods is interesting because, just to chime in, one more nugget. If I would have told you that he was a top 5 player on consensus boards to start the college season, which he was, and he just had a down year, how do you guys, as football people, how do you weigh that, John? Do you say, was the scheme? I mean, a lot of players at Clemson took a step back.
Yeah.
Is it, you know what I mean? It's interesting.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's a good point. I'm not sure. They were rolling there for a while, and there's just something about that program seems like it has been a little bit behind with the NIL era, like switching over. I'm sure that has a lot to do with Dabo Swinney not wanting to fully adapt to it, but you're right. It has been one of those things where they haven't really played up to kind of what the expectations were going to be. I mean, I don't know how you guys felt about Cade Klubnik, but I thought he was going to be a better pro prospect than he has been. So I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know, but it's just funny that you bring that up because, we do so many mock drafts, we read so many mock drafts, and you think how everything's going to go. And when that first round gets started, man, within that first 10, 15 picks, there's going to be a couple guys that go that you're just like, damn, I didn't have that guy going that high, thinking of Clemson that year when Farrell. Oh my God. Yeah. When John Gruden and what's his name were running the draft there from NFL Network.
Mayock.
Yeah. And they took Farrell. I remember that was a huge surprise. That was somebody that, he was going to go in the first round, probably in the top 15, but not in the top.
Didn't they have 3 first-round picks and missed on all 3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Abram, Farrell, and someone else.
Yeah, they got Abram is the one they got for Amari Cooper from the Cowboys.
Let me ask you this, Dan Foots. Do you think, and Sky, and you can tune in too, John, do you think that this second round draft picks are deeper than the first round class and third, as far as your evaluation? Because that's where we're missing. Because Peter Wood definitely will be in the second.
I think that the sweet spot of this class is the 2nd through 4th round. But that gives Dallas no excuse, fellas. I mean, that they don't have an excuse. I'm going to say this till I'm blue in the face. Your first round picks need to start this year, and they need to play well. And then now your 3rd round pick needs to be a contributor, or wherever that contributor comes from. If it's one of your 5ths, if it's your 4th, if it's your 3rd, you need to get 3 contributors out of this class.
See, I think they need 4, to be honest with you. That's why I think they need to move.
You're not wrong, John.
Somebody else said they called in and said, "You need 4 starters."
Going 4,
and I was
John?
like,
I think you need
4 starters.
I think you need 4 guys in the top 100, and they have 3 right now. And I think you can get back from 12 or 20, move back a handful of spots, and get another top 100 pick from somebody.
Okay.
So here's my question. I said we talked about this behind the scenes right before the show. Because you don't have a second, and likely pick 20 is probably a 2nd round graded player, don't you have to treat that as your 2nd round pick? And so you might be taking a guy that maybe, hey man, he's 32nd on our board. He's 35, he's 39. But if this is the guy at a position, I hate to say it, man, of need, that or best player available at position of need, do you have the luxury of saying we'll wait to 92 as opposed to, Jacob Rodriguez? Like we gotta take it right here because we can't afford to wait to 92. Like I feel like you almost have to treat 20 like that. Not you know what? This guy is rated 33. So we can't take him and we'll just trade out this pick, or I think you might have to take the guy, man.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you really think Rodriguez has a chance at 92?
No. I brought that up because we were talking about him. A lot of people have him as consensus second round grade, but if you're at 20 and you didn't take a backer yet, you didn't sign a backer of the future, do you say, oh, well, he's second round, so we're not taking him. We're going to take the fifth tackle because he's rated as the first round because he's an offensive tackle. Like, you know what I mean?
All right. Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're saying because I just did our draft for the Athletic where we each draft for like the team we cover. And at 20, I just took CJ Allen. I couldn't get a team to trade back with me. And I was like, I know this is probably 5 to 10 spots too high, but they've done nothing in free agency. They haven't made a trade or anything. And I need 2 good inside linebackers that are not on this roster right now, So I think 20 might be a little rich to some, but to your point, I mean, that's what I'm thinking, Sky, is that, hey, if he's a little rich, you got to get a guy, though. I mean, you need that green dot middle linebacker.
It's the green dot part.
John, what I want to say is that then Foots and Sky, I know y'all been doing a lot of research on linebackers. My mind at 20 is telling me CJ Allen. My heart is telling me Rodriguez. Because that's just
man, 20 seems so rich to do Rodriguez, though.
It'd be too rich because of the size and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of other missed factors. But by us not having that second round draft pick,
it's interesting.
I got to go with my heart, and my mind telling me CJ, but my
mind's telling me no.
What about if they could give from they move back from let's say 20 to 25, and they would probably get a third there. How far would they have to go back to get a second?
You'd have to get somebody in high in the second probably to jump back into the first, right? Like I don't know if somebody in the first is giving up a second to come. Maybe who's 30? I mean, 32 obviously is the Seattle Seahawks, but why would they trade up? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true.
So can I do something, fellas? I want to give my CJ pitch because Law, I saw you, and you're not wrong with Jacob. Jacob Rodriguez is a playmaking Jesse. I want to say that. The dude jumps in passing lanes. He's peanut punching at the ball. But for this team, do we have a player? We got to think, can this guy come in and run a scheme, get people lined up? And it shouldn't be about that, but the Cowboys have pigeonholed themselves.
You said it, John.
They pigeonholed themselves. And the one thing I always have to lean back on is physicality. When I look at CJ Allen play the game, he's just more physical than everybody, maybe outside of Sonny. Sonny Styles gets away with this stuff because he's so athletic. And he's 6'5", right? But when I look at CJ Allen, and there's so many misnomers out there, and I know the workout is scaring people. Ray Lewis had the same. If you go watch his documentary, a lot of teams passed on him because he didn't. I'm not saying he's going to be Ray Lewis, but he didn't pass the eye test. It wasn't amazing. And all he did, CJ Allen has some of that with him. Again, guys, he's 20 years old, and he's been running that defense for 3 years. You guys tell me. There's people who love him. There's people who hate him. And I'm glad that we have all this conversation. I don't want us to all agree. I hate groupthink. But I just know for me, when I look at it and I'm looking at a player who, if you like Tyler Booker last year, then you need to draft CJ Allen because it's the same type of pick.
Boy, you ain't want no damn Tyler Booker last year.
I definitely didn't. You know I didn't. Hey, you know what, Scott? I definitely didn't. And I'm not gonna be phony, fake. You remember that?
I love the comparison, though.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying because although Booker I don't know, people are weird. It's not a sexy pick, right? It wasn't sexy film in the sense of, he does this, but Booker he was really damn good, right? And, I did think he was a better pass blocker on film, which is crazy to say because he's a growth grader, but I get what you're saying. Safe pick. He's a guard. It's a linebacker. It's not really a sexy pick with CJ, but he's just a solid, steady Eddie that can run the defense. I would be happy with it. I know a lot of people in the chat and I see it across the line. I don't want nothing to do with him. Brother, who do you think we have at linebacker?
He was third in the nation in tackles.
To say you don't want nothing to do with one of the best linebackers in the nation.
He was third in the nation in
Justin
tackles.
Barron's got it. Everyone relax.
Who do you think you are? I am. Like I don't understand that thought process here of how we don't need
Justin Barron and Shamar James.
Let's roll.
Overshown is going to be healthy all season.
You mean to tell me he's going to be worse than what we've had? I'm just not buying that, brother. Like, it's going to be hard for me to be upset taking I don't give a damn who it is at 20, to be honest.
I don't think that you can be worse at linebacker than you were last year with just what's out there, what they have right now.
Right.
I mean, that's some of the worst play I've ever seen. So I don't know that you can be any worse than that, but that the goal isn't to not be just a little bit better than last year. You'd like to be significantly better, maybe not be, 29, 30, 31, 32 in defense, but
no, yeah. You're absolutely right. I don't want to draft a dude because they better than the 84th linebacker that we had last year. But I do want some upside. I definitely want that.
Law, make your point for Jacob Rodriguez. Why do you like him?
I've seen in the last 2 seasons, no one had more tackles than him and tackles for loss out of all of the linebackers, forced fumbles, and he had picks. So, like you said, he is the guy that's pretty much reckless abandon. He do have a lot of missed tackle rates, but I'm looking like a baller. I'm looking at somebody that can be a antagonist on defense. Finally, somebody that can make plays, script the ball away. That's what I'm looking for. If we definitely get a veteran linebacker like a Bobby Wagner or Bobby Okorike, that would even strengthen my argument for a kind of caliber of Jacob Rodriguez, because now those veteran guys can teach them a way, right?
Yeah.
I do like your point on CJ Allen. I think he's a plug and play Tyler Booker type. That's a safe pick. But like I said, my mind is telling me CJ, but my heart, man, I got to listen to my heart, man. And I think that this could be a different version of a Sean Lee type of guy, and
he was a 2nd round pick. So, I mean, now there were injuries
to be fair,
but I'm fine with either. I'm just trying to get another top 100 pick because I'm not really in love with anybody outside of that top 10, 11 guys anyway. And so
you need somebody to be in love to get the moved off 20 though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the tricky part. So that's where you need Jerry, the salesman, to get on the horn. Well, he's not that great at. He probably don't know none of these draft guys. So I
just think that you got to take a little less than what you normally would. You can't look at the draft chart and go, no, this pick adds up to 720. I got to get something like you got to be willing to take less.
No, you got to. But you got to be good at negotiating though. You got remember that scene in Wolf of Wall Street where they're all hovering around Leonardo DiCaprio and he's selling the shit out this penny stock, and he got my man to invest $10,000 and another $5,000. You need somebody in that room to be able to do that if you're trying to get that second, because we just kind of quickly went over it. How many teams, outside of the 2nd round pick, or top of the 2nd round, how many teams in that 21 to 32 range are giving you a second to move up for a guy that you just said, it's not that much of a difference.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying it might not be like that. It might be a smaller move, and it might be for something that in previous
like
years it got you like a second, and now it's going to get you, or a late second. Now it's an early third instead. Yeah,
you did say on the 100.
You're going to look at the draft chart, and you're going to be critical of it. You're going to be like, man, they didn't get the value on this, but it's like, no, you just need another top 100 pick so that you can get 4 guys that you drafted all on defense. I don't want to hear anything about any offensive players. In my mock at 12. Jeremiah Love was still there. Would love to have pulled the trigger on that. I can't do that because of what you've done for me over the last month on defense.
Who'd you take?
Mansour Delane.
He was still there. He got past the Chiefs.
That's because he did. They ended up taking what's his name?
McCoy.
Yes. And then the Dolphins went receiver, I'm pretty sure. That's what opened the door for Delane. Jeremiah Love was there. And I can, just my time covering the team outside of 2017, because they obviously already had Ezekiel Elliott, like any other year, I would have taken Jeremiah Love in that situation. But they've forced my hand by doing how little that they've done. I have no choice. I have to take defense.
I feel you. They're going to have to lock Jerry.
I mean, no offense, Law, but the names you're saying, Bobby Okereke and Bobby Wagner. If Bobby Wagner still's got gas in the tank, Dan Quinn's got him on the roster still. You know what I'm saying? But that's where you're forced to be,
So
And
and let me.
only
They're gonna
reason
have to
why-
lock Jerry up to not take Love. They're going to lock him up.
You're right.
Oh,
No,
they're
you're
gonna
right.
have to sit his
You're
ass
right.
down. You know, I mean, the last name, the jerseys. Oh, come on.
No, you're right. You're
bro.
right. You're right.
Yeah. The only reason why I said Bobby Wagner,
'Cause they're the best
though
available.
He's old. He had 5 sacks last
Hey,
season, 2
bro.
INTs. Yeah, he's terrible.
I'll take
in
Bobby
coverage.
Wagner right now.
But Bobby Wagner haven't missed a game in 5 years.
Yeah,
I'm
I'll take
sitting
him
there
right now.
Man, he had over 1,000 snaps, 160 tackles. In the last 5 years, he had over 150 tackles. So that guy is, I don't know what is going on with him. I just figure if you move him over here to the Cowboys, he'd be just that bridge veteran, veteran
Bro.
guy. Yeah.
No,
Going
and the
into
two
free
linebackers
agency-
you said, those are the best available right now. If
The-
people look at what's the best
Yep.
available at inside linebacker, it's those two guys.
I gotta get ready to go, man.
Uh-oh.
Okay, nah,
All right, man.
no, much love,
Much
love.
love,
See you,
y'all.
man.
Appreciate you, Lo.
I'll say this. I saw somebody in the chat say, Foots, I thought you wanted a white backer. Well, I do, but I want
want a
the
brother?
I want the right one, first of all, and then like
you
there
want the
is
right
no,
white. You don't want the tiki torch. Okay, I got it.
there is no, first of all, there is no Carson Schlesinger in this draft, right? Like a guy who
He would be a first rounder in this draft.
he would be a first rounder, knifing through, moves well. That was a good comment, David Lawrence. And then Richmond Cali, he said, Foots, you fake. No, I'm not fake. Listen, I'm gonna tell you the issue that I have with CJ Allen is I don't think he plays blocks well. And I was showing Sky a few plays. Like I just don't think he's physical.
You mean
enough.
Rodriguez?
Rodriguez, excuse me. Not issues I have with CJ Allen plays blocks great. Rodriguez, he's good. But like even okay, I'll give you a promise. This is how I watch.
Also, hey,
especially
throw us
top.
out some other names because I feel like
Okay,
these
I
are
got
the only two inside linebacker names that are being talked about right now.
So,
is
like-
there anybody else you like early on, like top 50?
Man, somebody who was in that Leighton Vander Esch elk would be a guy like Jay Golday, right? Was an edge before he transferred over to Cincinnati. Super physical, super duper physical, John. And like that 6'4" frame, he plays with it. He's gonna stack guards. The issue, the one
could he be a year one green dot guy?
Oh, yes. Very smart. He can run sideline to sideline. I just think that the small school, this is his first year playing true Mike is one. The guy who I really like, but he's terrible in coverage, is Josiah Trotter. Trotter is really physical, but he can't play back to the basket, and like play action is going to kill him. But that's pretty much the story of all these backers.
Here's my concern. You brought up can he be the green dot? I didn't do this research, and maybe I'll go back and look. How many? And I don't know which Schwarzenegger, if he was even this guy over there in Cleveland, but there was a lot of veterans. How many rookies, especially day 3 rookies, or day 2, third round rookies, are coming in and literally leading a brand new defense, a semi-complex defense? How many are doing that? And then how many do it at a high level? The Cowboys may not have a choice, but I don't want them to put that on this rookie. That's why I'm okay with getting a Bobby. I don't mean to go back to this.
Yeah.
Going into the free agency, Bobby wasn't even on my list because there was other options. Yeah. But now that we've passed that wave, how do you not look at Bobby as a really appealing option? Yes, going backwards and beyond 5 yards laterally is not great, but the dude still plays downhill probably better than anyone. I mean, he is one of the best run defenders. And you want to keep raising that floor, right, Foots? I think Bobby Wagner does that. You want to talk about running a defense and IQ and leadership and coming in and showing these young men how to be a professional and how on the field, off the field. Bobby can do that. And he gives you a buffer for that CJ Allen, Rodriguez, the third rounder, or whomever it may be. You're not putting all that pressure on that young man because that is a lot. And I think I was just on the show where it said, well, maybe it's not going to be that rookie. Maybe it'll be the safety. Maybe it'll be Jalen Thompson, but it's usually that middle linebacker. And I don't know how good I feel about making that rookie do that, man. That's all.
Yeah, I wouldn't feel great about it either, but I just bring that up with those two because when I read stuff about them, when I talk about Allen and Rodriguez, those are things that people say like on their strengths or that's what you'd want, like them to do that. But to your point, that's doing it at a college level. And now all of a sudden you're coming to a new defense, a defense that was terrible last year, new defensive coordinator. That is obviously going to be a ton on that player's plate. I guess where I'm coming from on it is that if I go in that direction, I'm expecting growing pains. I'm expecting issues where like, yeah, well, you know, we're going to have to take some of these mistakes, but because we're growing, this guy's going to be the future of that position. But to your point, it would make sense to then pair that player with someone like a Bobby Wagner who has been there and done that for a long period of time, for sure. I just don't know what the number is on Bobby Wagner, because I think if we had that number right now, what he's looking for, what it'll cost, I think that would have a lot to do with our decision on if we think that's a good move or not, too. So, I mean, that could be the biggest reason why he's still out there, is he could be asking for a number that teams are just like, nah, we're good on that right now. We'll circle back in a month or something.
I think too. I'm not the biggest Bobby Wagner fan, but the problem is the Cowboys have put themselves in a hole that I'd be okay with that, Scott, because it's a heavy load. It's a heavy lift, even with CJ Allen. Like, I love CJ Allen, but to ask him to do that, you're hoping he can do it, but you just don't know. At least you do know that Bobby can come in, get guys lined up, and play good football. And I think
he can play the run very well. At least you know he can do that aspect at a high level. The other stuff, it might be a little struggle bus. But I mean, again, you've left yourself no choice but to go get a linebacker that isn't at the top of their game right now as a free agent.
What do you got? We talk about should they sign or add anybody else before we go to Q&A. I was looking at Miami and how they're pretty much heavy sellers. Would you guys be in on Jordan Brooks?
100%. Okay. We looked at that last. I looked at his contract. It is very attainable.
I haven't looked at it. What is it? Like,
I think it's like
a couple years,
$6 million or something.
How much do you got left?
I got you. I'm about to give you right now. You go ahead. Keep going. I don't want to.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just look at Jordan Brooks, and I think that would be a name if I'm Dallas. Now, I don't know what it would take to get him.
Okay, so
but I would do that.
He's at 10 now, but if you were to trade for him, that comes down a little bit. And he has some, he has some void years, so he's technically on the last year of his deal. So I'd imagine they'd probably ask Miami to come up off a couple dollars. But if you brought in Kenneth Murray for $7, you could bring in Jordan Brooks for $7. You know what I'm saying?
He's a much better player.
Yeah.
Much better.
I got another name. Actually, I had two.
Let's talk about it.
Joey Bosa is still out there. I think we need a little bit more pass rush. Is he the young, spry Joey Bosa? No, but he had a better year last year. 30 or 31 years old, so he's not too far gone in that department. But what do y'all think about this one? Because not a lot out there. What do y'all think about?
There is not a lot. You're right.
It's really
bringing back Dante Fowler.
Okay.
You know, he played in as a stand-up rusher a couple times throughout his career. He did not have the best of seasons last year. He played hurt a little bit, but there was times he was like, "That's the foul that we need. That Dante, where's that?" But also, not a great coach either. But in this scheme, honestly, I would have brought him back probably over Sam as a rusher. But if you want Sam to be here, do more special team stuff and maybe as run stuff, cool. But if you're looking for a DPR, like designated pass rusher, outside linebacker type, where you guys stand on Dante Fowler?
I don't think it would be that much money, so I'm all about that. And to your point, there just isn't a lot out there. You know, I mean, we've literally, like, I wrote down a bunch of names because, like, in our text group, I mentioned, like, hey, maybe we should talk about, like, a guy that a player or two that we think would be worth them adding who's still out there. And just, I mean, everyone that has been mentioned that I wrote down, the only other one is Hassan Reddick. So I don't know what the price would be on that either, but
where is his head at too?
Well,
that was weird last 2 years.
But no, I wouldn't be against the Dante Fowler move at all. No.
And the only reason why I see people saying Clowney, is it's clear that they didn't view Clowney.
Yeah.
Right. Because, like, obviously you could say, well, they don't view Dante Fowler as anything. They didn't come out and say, hold on, pump the brakes on Fowler. They came out and said, pump the brakes on Clowney. And we saw them go from talking very highly to saying, we're going to go with what CP wants. And so I think it's clear that they don't believe he fits. And I personally think when you signed or when you traded for Gary, you basically got Clowney. You got a younger Clowney. You got a dude who's not going to drop back in coverage. That's not what he does. He had like 8 dropbacks last year. And over his career, he just does not play coverage. Clowney does not want to play in any type of coverage. Both great run defenders. I think Clowney's a better pass rusher, but he's not this elite pass rusher, win quick guy. He's I think better than Gary as a pass rusher, but he's of that ilk where you're looking at a guy you hope to get 7.5, 8, 9 sacks, but it's not going to be of the variety of some of these top tier guys. They're not shading to him and things like that. I think I don't know if you're looking for a replica of Gary. I think you're looking for a juice rusher, and Fowler can give you some juice as a designated guy if he's an option, is all I'm saying.
Let me ask you guys. A lot of people want. They're saying, I don't know who signed with the Niners.
Did Fowler sign with the Niners? I saw somebody say sign with the Niners. I don't know who he is, so it's not Fowler.
I don't think so. Yeah, Grenard.
Oh,
let's talk through Grenard.
Oh, let's talk about
Grenard. Yeah. Jonathan Grenard. How do we feel about Jonathan Grenard?
Yeah, let me know what the price is. Yeah, let me know what the price is. I'm very on
board.
Now, him and Sweat, John, this guy. When it's the same thing I say with AJ Brown. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when, right? Like when these guys start, I think this is what I say. When these guys start asking for a trade or there's thoughts about a trade, it's literally a matter of when. And I would go get Sweat. I would go get Grenard. I come off that third round pick for those guys if that's what it took.
I really like, man, when you go put on Grenard's film, I want him. Like I think, and he played with a bum shoulder last year, and he still again. We'll talk about winning quick. He was top 8 in the league in quick pressures. That was in 12 games. You know what I'm saying? Was the sacks there? He did not have a great sack year, but prior to that, 24.5 sacks the previous 2 seasons. And I think he can still come in. Matter of fact, if he came in right now, he's your best pass rusher. It ain't even close. Yeah. Like I think he definitely still got some left. He's 28, 29, something like that. Contract a little bit, but you can work with that money, right? Do what you did with Gary. I think he has a little bit of a toolbox, right? He can rush with power. He can rush with speed. He has a nice inside move, swim or spin move. I like Grenard a lot, man. I think he's a dog mentality, attacking mentality. He'd be your starter, and he allowed Donovan Izaraku to be the kind of that third guy off the bench. And then you got a pure run demon in Gary, and then you got a guy in Grenard who can get after the passer, and then you put him with Kenny and Quinnen. Your starting unit looked pretty complimentary.
Yeah, it looks
pretty complimentary, man.
I don't love the edge rushers that will probably be available at 12. So if you tell me I can get Jonathan Grenard for the 3rd round pick, yep,
100%.
Take it.
Yeah, because that would be your 3rd round pick essentially. You know what I mean? That's how I would look at it.
When they made that trade, though, I did kind of think like, okay, this could be them using that 3rd to find their next Malik Collins, Osa Digizua, their next young defensive tackle to pair,
they could have had Alex Collins, but that's a whole
But I mean, hey, if you tell me that they can get Jonathan Grenard for that, I would be all about that. You guys know how many years he's got left on his contract? I know he's 28. I just don't know how many years he's got left.
I think he has 1 year left.
I don't know. I think he has a couple. No, I think he has a couple.
I mean, why would they want to get rid of him?
So originally it was said that cap reasons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he signed through 27.
Okay.
4 years, $76 million.
Yeah, you can do a little funny money, add an extra year on there, and have him for 2 solid seasons. In that 3rd season, you can get out the contract.
Yep, take my 3rd. I'm in.
22 mil, and then you trade. You probably only taking like 19, 18 of that. Come on, man. I'm on the phone.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I'm on the phone.
Yeah, I think I'm with you, Scott. I think I'm making that happen, Captain. All right, let's get to these questions and we'll close out. What a great show. Almost 600 people. Make sure we get the likes up. Hey, guys, Giannis from Norway. Hey, Norway, let's go.
Shout out
to Norway. Come on now. Hey, guys, Giannis from Norway. I increasingly think it'll be Delane at 12, 20 at Allen at 20. I don't know how I feel about filling a need at 20 when you could have him French. Yeah, I mean, thank you for the 50. Yeah, bro. Yeah, like I think that none of us want to, but they're pigeonholed. Unless they pull off a miracle, go get Jordan Brooks or something like that. That's kind of what it looks like. That's what I'm
good with that draft though. Delane and Mansour and
I feel great.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, I would rather have Allen at like 25 and
an extra third.
An extra third. Would be I would feel great about that. But hey, if you got to take him at 20, you got to take him 20. If you're showing me the roster that they have right now is the roster they have in late April when they start drafting, then I'm fine with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Next one. Thank you, Najee Nightingale, for the $5. Here goes on $1. No rookie at 20 is given great production. Draft and see. I disagree with that. D Shift. Thank you for the $2, but if you hit on the right guy, I mean, Jared Verse came in at 18 and was amazing. Tyler Smith was really good at 23. I disagree with that.
I think that's a bit much to say they won't give you great production. But the thing is, they can give you great production, but not be the hump player, right? Like you can get some really good. Tyler Booker, fantastic, great production. It was not the hump player that a veteran, not saying veteran at that position, but a veteran player would be. The offense has always been great. Tyler Booker just got inserted into a great offense. You know what I'm saying? Great production, but you need to get players in free agency that can help get you over the hump, and then the rookies can just come into that and kind of just fit in, as opposed to being a guy you rely on. That's tough, man. Asking a rookie to be, hey, you got to be the dude to get us over the hump. That's just very rare.
I completely agree. Last one here. Caden Curry, DN, Ohio State, 11 sacks. Is a I don't know, a sleeper.
Force fumble.
Force fumble. I don't think. I like Caden Curry. I don't know. I don't even know if he'll be there. We had to add depth and production to that room. I mean, listen, defensive end, D tackle, like Scott said, nothing is off the table when your defense is this bad. They can literally draft any position on the defense, and I'll be like, oh, okay. Like when your defense was that bad, it is what it is.
And I keep going back to this. They got a young defensive coaching staff that knows all these players in this draft well. Like, take advantage of that. That's all. That's the other reason why I want them to get another top 100 pick. Give them 4 picks to let that young defensive staff throw 4 darts at the board. And if you hit on 3 of them, great. Definitely hit on 2. But if you can hit on 3 or all 4 of them, then you're killing it. But I would lean into that young coaching staff. So that's why I also want another top 100 pick.
They've been around the game. They were all in college last year. Well, not all of them, but a lot of them.
Let me make sure I got this right here. What you looking for, brother? You looking for was it 2012 or 2010? One of them damn years. Seattle Seahawks. Remember when they got?
Yeah,
they had a couple like staple defenders. I think it was between 2010 and 2012.
Yeah.
I think that's when they got Cam and Bobby and Sherm.
When I think of Seattle in this topic, I think of the edge that Pete Carroll had coming from USC at that time. Mm-hmm. And he had been there for a while, recruited a lot of those dudes, coached against a lot of those guys. And then he goes to Seattle and they had all these top picks and they were able to help, it helped turn things around there.
Here you go.
All the young
Look
dudes.
At this. So 2011, they get KJ Wright, Richard Sherman, Byron Maxwell.
Oh yeah.
The next year, They get Bobby Wagner, Bruce Irvin. I remember Jeremy Lane. I don't know if you got he was part of that whole thing too.
Hey, Cowboys kind of had one of them drafts with DeMarcus Ware and the boys.
Yeah, 2014.
No.
Oh, DeMarcus Ware, 05. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, with like Ratliff and
so peep game. They went 2010. Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor. The next year, Richard Sherman, Maxwell. The following year, Irvin. And Bobby Wagner. Oh man,
that Bruce Irvin, that was a steal. Yeah.
Oh my God.
West Virginia
Cowboys can do something like that.
Yeah, man.
Woo.
Yeah,
bro. But like you said, John, that's when Pete was super tight into college football. Yep. He probably was, hey, this is the guy you want. I played against this guy. Trust me. And,
I think he was in it. He was out of it for a little bit, but he probably still was plugged in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, we'll end with this one. What's more dangerous, Styles to New York or Downs to Washington? Styles playing on that Giants front next to Edmonds, 6'4" or 6'5" is scary.
Yeah,
both sound awful.
Yeah, I was about to say. I don't know.
I can see them both being stars.
I'm just keeping the buck, but I don't know what it is about the Giants. Until they become good, I don't give a damn what they do. It's like it doesn't matter what they do. I thought the same thing when they got Carter. Oh my God, how the hell are we gonna trash? So I don't really care what they do. Now Downs to Washington, they got a legitimate quarterback, young boy in New York. We'll see. Yeah, the quarterback gets hurt or whatever, but we just saw Washington just the season before do that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we know that it's capable, it's in them. So Downs to Washington make me go, man, I don't like that, but I don't care what the Giants do until they are good again.
It's kind of funny you say that, and I mean, you guys know I'm not a Cowboys fan, but it is just from my time covering the team. I kind of feel that way about Washington. And so I do think it's kind of funny that they even made it to the NFC Championship game recently. And I still am like, I need to see it again. And it's not and it's not fair because I do think Dan Quinn and obviously Jayden Daniels, like they have a good thing going right now. Biggest move, new ownership. Obviously, that's helped a lot. But there is so much of just me going up there for those road trips and covering the Dan Snyder Washington Commanders / Redskin teams where I'm just like, man, I just don't really think. I mean, other than the Robert Griffin year, I'm just like, man, do I got to go back up here? Like, this is such a beating, like.
Don't ask Foots about Washington.
Yeah, I'm cool on that team. I don't think that they. And then the sad thing is like JD now.
You don't think they'll have a bounce back year a little bit?
Nope.
Really?
Because I don't
believe in them boys.
Well, the problem is, and Sky, you know this. You the coordinator guy. Any team that switches their OC and their DC, it's tough, man. Like it's so much that has to come together, especially with an offensive coordinator. We were having this conversation last year about Kevin Patullo, John. And a year later, they fired him. So
I think it depends on the health of the quarterback. I think they had a really good free agency. I know they switched defensive coordinators. Dan Quinn is not some terrible defensive coordinator, by the way. He defensive mind. So they went out, spent money. They got a good young quarterback. The problem is he don't stay healthy. So I think it depends on him. If he stays healthy, there's no doubt about it. They can be a 500 team. That doesn't mean they're going to go to the Super Bowl. But the Giants, new head coach who arguably is he going to really improve? I mean, he'll improve their culture, but is he going to turn them into Super Bowl? I don't know about all that. It's the Giants, man. Like they've been so bad for so damn long, no matter what they've tried.
It also depends on what you think of John Harbaugh and like
that's what I'm saying.
How much of an impact he was. Is Baltimore just such a really good, stable organization that you're just going to have success with just about anybody there?
And he squandered opportunities in Baltimore, though.
Yeah. So I mean, that depends. I don't know. So I just think he's the best coach they've had since Coughlin. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, guys, that'll do it for this one. What a great show! Right at our hour mark. 600 people tops. Get the likes up, send us around, and we will see you guys on the next one. Hopefully they sign somebody else. Hopefully they do something that we could talk about. If they do, maybe we'll have an emergency one. Until then, you guys root for Duke because we love John, and we will see you guys on the next one.
Never.
Peace.